What's your favorite place to have lunch? Hey, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind you, if you're interested in joining me for a virtual CROPTOBERFEST, I'm going to be doing a full day CROPTOBERFEST on November 1st. It'll be on Zoom, and the different classes that I'm offering, I'm going to pre-record and post privately to my YouTube channel. So people who have paid to access the virtual CROPTOBERFEST will be able to access those videos whenever you choose from my YouTube channel. So hopefully that will be helpful and something that will be enjoyable for you. If you're interested, please check the description of this video for the Zoom link. Not the Zoom link, but for the registration information, and that will hopefully explain all of your questions. If not, shoot me a question, email it to me, and I'll be happy to help you. Also, we're going to do December Days this year, and December Days is also going to be on Zoom as a recorded lesson each week. Each week we're going to do 3 to 4 layouts, and we're going to start that at the beginning of November, every Monday night, and they'll be recorded so you can access them later if you can't be with us when we do it live. And it should be super fun. I'm excited. So I hope you'll join me for that as well. That information will also be in the description of this video. So take a look at that real quick and register for both of those, and we're going to have some fun. On one of the last days of our journey, we ate lunch in one of the most beautiful places I think I've ever stopped to share a meal with anyone. It was right on the edge of a fjord. Do you know what a fjord is? You might have to look that up if you're like me. Let's check out my workspace, and we'll get to the photos eventually, but let's check out what we're going to create today. All right, so this is the right hand side of the layout just before the layout we're going to do today. You didn't see me put this layout together, but this was part of the project, one of the project recipe layouts for 2021 that went with the NSD pack from 2021. That's why those are the papers that you see here. And so this is a layout that I did back in 2021, and it's been waiting for me to use it. So I finally have used it. I figured we're almost done with all of this series. I better use what I've got, right? So in today's layout, we are going to be using some papers that I used in another layout. I found these two papers, which were part of the Ireland theme pack that came out in 2023. And we're going to use these today. But because these are smaller, you can see that they are not a full 12 by 12 piece of paper. We need to make a frame that goes around the outside. So I pulled some tangerine cardstock. We haven't used any orange in this album for a bit, so we're going to use some orange, some tangerine today, and some gradient papers, and some other papers that will be able to do what I want to do with this. Okay, so we're going to cut some frames. We're going to have some fun with this piece of gradient orange. This is from a CROPTOBERFEST pack of papers from a while ago, and this one is from, sure, I'm drawing a total blank, even though I just barely pulled it out of my paper pack. All right, I'll make sure it's in the description of the video, and sorry about that. All right, so the photos that we're going to do today are super fun and beautiful and kind of special. So I'll explain those in a minute. We're going to stick those up there for the time being. Oops. And that. And get that page set aside as well so I can cut some things. So let's grab, I'm going to grab my trimmer. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut these 2 pieces of cardstock into frames. So make sure there's nothing but cardstock. You can stack the 2 on top of one another. And let's just do a quick measurement of this piece to see just how big it is. It's a 10.5 inch piece. So basically that means that I'm going to have 3/4 of an inch all the way around that is showing. So I want to make sure that my frame is at least 1/2 inch more than that so that I have plenty of room for my adhesive and I don't have to worry about it being exposed. And so I'm going to make a 1¼ inch frame. So I'm going to measure out to 1¼ inch on the right hand side of my cutting blade or my cutting line. Okay, so I'm using my grid lines and measuring out to 1¼ inches. Then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to start my cut right here where that black little dot is. And I didn't put that black little dot there, but there is a cute little marker. I must have cut that or made that these dots at some point for something. Anyway, that's where we're going to start our cut, which means that the 1 inch from where our blade hits is this far end of the blade housing. Okay, so I'm going to place this end of the blade housing at 2¼ that means I will start cutting at 1¼ So we're going to place that right there. Go ahead and start cutting. We're going to stop cutting at 10 3/4, which means that my blade housing needs to be at 11 3/4 to keep that consistency of size for the frame. Okay, and I'm just going to real quick go back up here because I just flipped my strip, and sometimes when I flip my strip I get this doesn't cut through, and look at that, it didn't cut through. Okay, so we're going to try that one more time. I really don't like to go over and over my cardstock like this because sometimes it cuts it differently, and then you end up with all kinds of little teeny hair pieces that is still not cutting through. All right, this is super frustrating. It's harder to do it this way because then I can't see where I need to stop. All right. Let's just make sure that we have the beginning cut all the way up. Okay, close. If it's not quite there, I will fix it when I separate these 2 papers. Okay, from here you can actually use the line on the side and you can match it up with your cut and then bring it down. Let's do that one more time. Again, just to make sure that I went through both layers, because when you switch that strip, it does take a couple of passes of your blade before it's easy to go through multiple layers of paper. It can be a little persnickety at first, so not to worry, we got this. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. Now see what I mean by a couple little hairy little pieces? That's what happens. That was that first side that I had to go over so many times to try to get that to release. Okay, so it's not to worry. These are not gonna, that cut's not gonna be seen because we're gonna cover it. So no big deal. All right, those are gonna go on top of the peach. Now, here's the other one. These other pieces, we are gonna do something else fun with. And I was actually cleaning my craft room. Shock. Breathe, everybody. I was cleaning my workshop space, going through some stuff, and putting some templates away. And, you know, remember the new templates we got? The mountain and the prairie and the ocean with the whale tail and all those really cool scenes templates that we got. I got a couple of those. I didn't get all of them, but I did get a couple of them. And I was putting them away here in my sort and stash binder that I have reserved for all of my templates. And I came across something that I had made a while back and I haven't used for a while. And I thought, you know, I really ought to use that in this layout. So we are going to play with this today. And hopefully it's something that you will be inspired to create for yourself. This is something I made for myself. I didn't get this pattern from anybody. I just sat down and sort of drew some squiggly lines on a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And because I wanted something that I could create, that I could use different papers for, and that they would all fit together and create a really cool layout. Now, I used to have this piece right here in the middle, which completes the 12 by 12 measurements. But somewhere along the line, it has gotten lost in my craft room. So I believe it went something like that. So, but that's okay, because since it's only one piece and since it's right in the middle, it's really not that critical, because I can trace the other pieces and I know that that is the piece I'm going to cut. I hope that makes sense. But today, I'm actually, the reason that I wanted to make these was because I wanted to be able to play with them and combine different things. You can make yours however you want, and you can, you know, draw and erase the squiggle lines until you're happy with the results of them. I'm going to use this one that's labeled number 5 and this one that's labeled number 1, and we're gonna play around with it. I may raise this up so that it's not as short. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Raise it up so that it's not as short, but we have still kind of the effect of the swirls. And we'll save these for another day. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we may need a third one, because I've got 3 different colors of paper here. So that's okay. We can make this work. Now, I bought a special tool, and I saw this on the internet. I've never actually used it before, but I'm excited and I want to use it today. This has a blade on it. You can see that. The blade swivels around pretty easily. So I'm hoping I can use that on this cardboard and cut along these edges really easily. You probably could just use a regular X-Acto knife and not worry about the swivel, and you would be just fine. But yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. So we're going to do, I'm going to place my paper on my self-healing mat, and I'm going to start this at 3 inches. You can see the arch is going to go up a little higher than that, but let's see if I can make this work. So just dragging it along the edge of the template that I made. And this template is just made out of a piece of chipboard that came from one of the packages of product that I got. All right, let's try that one more time. Maybe I'm not pressing hard enough, since I've never used this before. Not really sure how hard to press. You can see it's releasing somewhat. Let's try it one more time. If you don't have one of these tools, you can simply draw the line on and cut it with your scissors. That's totally fine. That's what I would do if I did not have this tool. All right, so there is one, and I'm going to need to go back and clean that up because I'm not satisfied that I like that edge, but that's okay. We will work with that. And let's see, I may be able to just use that edge. I can, because that arch is almost exactly the same. All right, so let's see. I'm going to pull my trimmer back out, and I'm going to just trim this off so that the beginning of this arch is at 3 inches. Let's see. 3 inches is going to be just beyond there. So right there. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want this to match. I want this to be similar on both sides of the layout. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to use the orange for in the middle. And we're going to use this one right here. And let me see where we need to start that. Can I make it level? I think I can. So that means about 2 3/4 inches from the corner. That's where I am starting that. Let's see. Lining it up with my paper. All right, we're going to start from this end again. We'll try it again. Don't move, template. All right, here's one. And let's see if the reverse is going to match well enough that we can just trim that off. It looks like it will actually match pretty doggone well. So again, I'm going to just grab my trimmer. And this is going to all be determined, how you do this is going to all be determined on by how much of a wave you have in the pattern that you make for yourself. So it'll be a little bit different depending on that. And then, so that one is done. And then this one, let's see how high we need to make this one, because I believe this one is going to need to be, I'm going to need to add a little bit to the base of this one. So I want that to hit right about there. How much is that? That's about roughly 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so, and I want my design to flow this direction. So I'm going to place this on my mat. I'm going to grab my 0 centering ruler, let that kind of guide me so that I can place this template and get that a more accurate measurement for 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so right there. And if you need to, you can tape this down. Use a little bit of masking tape and tape it down. I'm just going to hold it and hope for the best. But you certainly could tape it. It's not swiveling the way it should. Right, hold on. I don't know if I'm fighting it because I'm not used to using a blade that will swivel on its own, or if it's really not cooperating with me. Okay. There we go. I will just have to trim that. Okay, and once again, let's just check it. This one's going to be a little bit more pronounced, see, so I think we're going to have to cut this one a second time. And then we'll go back and clean it up afterwards. So again, I'm going to place this on my mat. Find 3/4 of an inch. Like that. There we go. And then what I probably should have done was flip my template over so that I would have the opposite design on the opposite side. But I didn't think of that until just now, so that's okay. There we go. I put enough pressure that time. Look at that. It just separated. Super easy that time. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to just clean these up just a little bit where I have maybe not the most rounded corners, or if the paper is torn at all. Like with this piece, I can just come in with my scissors and trim that up to clean it up. Okay. Let's check these other pieces. There were another couple that I needed to kind of work on just a little. It would be fun to use a template like that as a tearing tool as well. So like I tore that one piece kind of on purpose because I just was losing my patience with it. If you tear it on purpose the whole way around, then you get another cool effect. But we'll do that another day. All right. This one just needs just a little bit of assistance. Because I just don't want those edges to be rough. This is the one. This was the first one, and it was a little rougher than the others. So I'm just barely cutting off the edge because the edge was kind of caught up in the blade a bit more than I would like it to be. Okay. There. Now let's grab some repositionable adhesive. And we're going to build this. Let's go with this. Okay, so I'm going to just put some repositionable adhesive across the orange piece. The orange piece is going to lay down on top of this green base, like so. And we're going to grab this piece. And it's going to lay down on top of the orange piece. like so. All right, so pretty simple, pretty easy, quick border. All right, so now let me just put those away. Now we're going to come in here and take these two frames and add our paper. So I'm going to put those borders up there. We'll come back to those in a minute. And I'm going to come in here with my repositionable adhesive. You can use either one, whatever you feel comfortable with. I just happen to have it handy, so that's what I'm using. I think normally I would use my permanent adhesive, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to come in here and just center this on here the best I can. And you could do some measuring if you want to be super precise to make sure you have 3/4 of an inch all the way around. But I think it's fairly easy to get that in the middle. And we'll do the same thing with this piece over here. So let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay. And now we're going to come in here with these two and decide how these are going to go on here. We could put them on the bottom, matching like that. We could put them both on the top, matching like that. We could put one on the top and one on the bottom, which I think is what I'm sort of leaning towards, but I think what I want to do is flip it and do like this. So we have the darker color, the darker orange towards the bottom. More of the darker orange towards the bottom. I think that's what I want to do. Or we could put them in the middle like this, which would also be cool. In which case we could flip it and have it be like this. So you can see lots of different options. It just sort of depends on the way you are going to lay your photos out. So let's grab our photos and talk about those. And I'm going to go ahead and just place that on my page and grab the other page here. And my photos. So that page will go just like that. Let's see how these are going to go. I'm kind of concerned if we do this in the middle like this that we're not going to see much of the design. And I know I'm really bad about adding so many photos that we don't see any of the design. But I'm trying to get better. Quite honestly, I am trying to get better. So there's photos for the first page. There's the photos for the second page. Okay, so let me just explain what's going on in these photos really quickly. This is what they call a fjord. We don't have fjords in the United States that I'm aware of, but over in Europe they do. And basically, the way it was explained to me, and if I'm remembering it correctly, I believe this is a fjord is created when a glacier melts in a valley and creates a lake, but I believe it also has access to the ocean somewhere. So out here, I believe is where it connects to the ocean. We were privileged to enjoy lunch at a place called the Missunderstood Heron. And as you can see, it's looks rather like a temporary building. It's very much about the size of a mobile home, maybe slightly smaller than a mobile home. And they had these wonderful tables that were built just basically from 2-inch by 6-inch boards. And we all found a nice table to eat. Oh my gosh, the food was wonderful. We all had different things that we really enjoyed. They had cooked pork, fried eggs, chicken, mussels, Pakistani-style potatoes, Spanish curry, soup, tomato soup, chicken and bacon and cheese, or potato and cheese, what they call pasties, which or pasties, which were a little bit of a reminded me a little bit of like a quiche kind of ish thing. These were the desserts. This was a chocolate cake with a peanut butter frosting. Oh my gosh. So good. And the piece they gave you was gigantic, like this big. So, and the frosting was like 1/2 inch thick on top. So good. We shared a lot of it because we just no way could one person eat all of that. I don't remember what these other things were, but like a streusel with berry filling, and I'm not sure what this is, like a coffee cake, I think. But anyway, super fun. These are going to be my peekaboo pockets for on top of this cute picture we got of Tony, our driver, and my husband. And that was a cool shot. So these are going to be peekaboo pockets. The peekaboo pockets are going to start from the top and flow down, and this picture will be the last one at the bottom of the peekaboo shot. And then underneath there was a dog that was tethered nearby, and Emily made friends with the dog. And this was another dog that was with a group that was visiting, just like we were, and just having lunch. And that's just a shot of one of the benches that they had had there for everybody to sit. But so that's going to be down there. This is what I would call like the money shot. Look at this picture we took. I don't remember if I took it or if someone else in the group took it, but this to me looks like a portrait that you would see on the wall somewhere, like in a fancy living room or something. I just love the red boat and, the whole nature of the picture. I just feel like Every time I see this picture, it makes me so happy. So anyways, but let's talk about the border that's underneath and try and figure out where we can best see it, because I don't want it to not get noticed or not complement the pictures. It's not that I want the border to get noticed, but I want it to complement the pictures that are best. So let's see, if we put it at the top, that photo covers some of it, not all of it. We could lower these down so we can see a little more of that color. If we did that, then I would want to move this to the bottom. If we move this to the bottom, then I would probably want to switch this picture to up here, but there's not as much room. So what if we moved this peekaboo situation down here to the bottom? We're still not going to see it much because the peekaboos, even though I can put those closer together, are not going to allow us to see that. Unless, let's see, so this one can go up here. Like so. This one would go in there like that. I could actually trim that just a little and it would be okay. And then we would see more of the border down here. I could also take another peekaboo pocket and add this picture and this picture to another peekaboo pocket. That way this can be lifted up and we can see the border underneath. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what I need to do. Let me trim this real quick. Grab my photo trimmer and just come in here. I think I'm going to leave just a little bit of that corrugated aluminum underneath it. And we'll just trim a little bit off on this side also, just to make it feel a little bit more cozy and abbreviated. Like that. I think that's going to work. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to add this border to the edge of that cardstock. Now, I had initially thought that I wanted to matte this photo, and I think if I'm going to matte it, I'll need to use this darker orange, because otherwise it's really not going to show up since I've got that tangerine around the outer edge. So find an orange that complements that. think I like this one best. And I probably have another orange or two up there, but I think this one's going to be just the ticket. So I'm just going to place this on. I don't want a huge mat. I just want a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then maybe we could have one or two other photos too, just so that this one doesn't look out of place with its mat. So maybe this one. All right. We might be able to use the rest of this for this photo. And I think I want to do that because this, I was noticing where I placed this photo, it kind of is getting lost. So let's do that. And yes, I don't have enough. I can hear you saying on the video, wait a minute, you don't have enough of that cardstock. And you'd be right. I don't have enough of this cardstock. So I'm going to fix it. And just like that, I have enough of that cardstock. Ta-da! Unless you know to look for it, then you don't realize that there's a little seam right there. Okay. So this one is on. Let's go ahead and adhere the rest of this. All right, and that peekaboo pocket will go over top of there. I'm going to move this in just a smidge so that we can see some of that green, but still have enough room hopefully for these photos over here. Yeah, it should be good. And these photos are going to, right now, I think they're going to be, you know what? We could do different. Let's do an accordion folded peekaboo instead of doing individual waterfall. Well, I don't know if I want to do it that way. I think I am going to do an individual waterfall situation. Then I can use this space underneath the last peekaboo to journal in. So that'll be fine. Okay, so you'll have to catch that on the flip through when I come back through when the album is completed, and you'll be able to see all of that portion right there. Let's get the rest of these pictures adhered. All right, so these pages are not adhered to my pages just yet, but they will be shortly. And we'll get that squared away. I have this cute exclusive sticker set, advisor sticker set, that went along with the March themed pages from last year. And I just thought he was a cute little guy, and I loved that his orange beard, his red beard was so prominent. So I thought he would be cute to add to our little luncheon here. And I'm just going to set him sort of right in the middle of that chalkboard because I think he's cute. And then we'll use some of these other stickers as embellishments for another spot. And if necessary, I have some more so he could have another friend if we wanted him to. I think if I just add a little more over here, that will be sufficient. So we're going to do those two and this guy. Kind of like that. And then we've got one more we could place if we wanted. I don't know, maybe right in here, just for fun. All right. Sorry for the glare on these. It's hard not to get a glare when you're using peekaboo pockets and other plastic things, but all right, I think that I'm going to go with that for right now. I think there will be a title that will end up here, or possibly a little bit more of the title down here. Maybe. That's what I'm feeling anyway. But if you haven't watched my channel before, let me just say that you'll see those on the flip through. When I flip through the album that's completed, that's when you get to see the titles that have been added and where the peekaboo pockets have well, actually, often I don't have the peekaboo pockets in place yet, mostly because of the glare that's on the page protectors. But I'll try and get the peekaboo or the page protectors on the pages that have the peekaboo pockets, so we at least can see those a little bit better. We'll see how that goes. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.